Hello one and all, this is Hybridsteel. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Today we're going to be doing all the under components for this car. So we're going to be taking off what's left of the exhaust, the suspension, the fuel tank, cleaning it all up and basically taking it all, well, trying to get it all fitted back. Now I have taken the opportunity to try and get one thing done quickly, and that was to basically measure up 4 brand new tyres for this car. And the reason why was because doing tyres is such a boring and mundane task, even I can't stand doing it. So I didn't want to put you guys through that as well, and I'll probably try and keep that as an idea going into all of my builds. Now this is basically the undercarriage. Thankfully it's a leaf spring, so there's not so many like rubber bushings and all the other stuff that comes with a more modern car. Leaf spring plates, they're a little bit more easier to detach from a old school car like this, so that's what we're sort of going for now. I'm sort of glad we are doing a charger to start this project off, because I've got to be honest, I sort of like the old school, and it's all, when it comes to like doing components like this, it's just more simpler and it's all good. So we're going to get rid of that. Obviously we're going to have to get a new fuel tank and a fuel pump in there as well. Let's take the shock absorber off, so that's got to come off, and then we're going to move over to the other side. Now thankfully this is a computer game and not real life, so I can easily just rotate the camera and all of a sudden I'm taking the wheels off the other side of the car. Taking off the drum brakes because these are shot to bits, so we need to get rid of the brake shoes and the cylinder. Probably going to have to get rid of the drive axle as well. Hopefully we don't have to, we can just repair this up, that would be really nice. But unfortunately, you know, this is a junkyard car, I'm not expecting miracles, let's put it that way. So we'll get the U-bolts off. Off you come, little U-bolts. There we go. Actually, these don't look like they're in bad condition. They're probably about sort of like 29. That's pretty shocking. Oh dear. Right, so I won't open my mouth about conditioning again. Right, rubber bushings are a nightmare. I don't like doing when you're doing like more of the modern cars. There are so many rubber bushings in these cars. It's ridiculous. And I'm sort of glad this, as said, it's an old school car, because I'm not having to deal with like so many of them. Get that shock absorber off, take the drive shaft off because that's attached to the rear axle. Obviously we need that, so that's got to come off as well. And then we'll remove the rear axle. Thankfully, I mean, we're not doing too bad for exhaust as well. We have got all the main components. We're probably going to have to buy a brand new one, but I'm all good with that. We're golden. So next is the wheels off the front. So trying to get the front done as quickly as humanly possible, because I just want to start. I want to start fixing and I want to start rebuilding this, because it's just one of those cars. I just want to get it done. I still haven't decided on what the engine's going to be. As said, it's either going to be a supercharger or it's going to be the Hemi. Either way, it's going to have, I think it's going to have a bit more power than the 350 that it's standard with. So we should be able to do. I'm going to hope by a sort of like 8 seconds on the time trial. We shall see. Basically what I'm doing is I try and put the cars all the way through their trials, so we go through the dyno at the end, and we'll even try and do like a sort of like a quarter-mile stretch and see what the times are for it, basically, and we'll see what the engine can possibly get up to by the end of the course. So it's just basically we get to do a huge test on these cars now. It's a way that I sort of figured, you know, just to show off what can happen when you do a brand new car like that. Well, when you do an old car and you sort of spruce it up a bit. So yeah, we're getting through this now. Off comes the lower arm, then we're going into the knuckle, and then we'll take the bushings off the cross member. And the cross member is connected to the left bone. So here we go. Oh, we can just about squeeze under that. There you go. It's all good. So yeah, I'm sort of expecting a little bit out of this car when it comes to profit. I mean, it cost me what, 8-9 grand. Was it maximum of 9,000 to get the car itself? I'm hoping that, you know, this car's going to sell for like about 60 grand. It takes about $30,000-$40,000 worth of like, well, it takes about $30,000-$40,000 worth of new parts going into it. I'm hoping it'll be a little bit cheaper. We can repair up quite a lot of this, so we'll try and cut our costs a little bit on that as well. If not, I mean, it's sort of like doing it for the love of the car, really, because it is genuinely a nice car to work on. It's nothing too complicated and everything's sort of there. It's just nicer. And what I'll probably do is, when it comes to deciding what engine I'm going to build, I'll probably buy all the parts before I do another video for it, because me sitting here and buying all the parts, I screw up so much when I'm buying engines that I'm not really sure of. and I'll just be continuously like, yeah, no, I've balls up here, and buy another component and another component, and by the end of it you're just going to get bored and horrible with it. So I'm not going to bother doing that. We're just going to we're going to build the engine as quickly as we possibly can. There's a lot to go into it basically. And that's the steering rack done. So what we're going to do, whack it over onto the table, everything, and see what we can repair.
One nap later.
Okay, so that's as much as we can get repaired as possible. Let's go into the inventory and see where we're at. Okay, so okay, and we'll sort by name. So we're not doing too badly. We've got to strip down the suspension from the front, and then we're obviously going to have to buy that as well separately, and that'll be a joy. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is when these are stripped down, I'm going to go into the shop, I'm going to buy all the components. Thankfully, with the powers of editing, you guys won't have to put up with that mundaneness of me sitting again. No, I don't need that. And all of this will be bought as soon as I possibly can. So this will be the last one. Okay, so with the powers of editing, we're going to be coming straight back and repairing this car from the ground up. So, see you in a sec. Okay, so we've bought all the stuff from the shop. As you can see, the shopping list is looking mightily full. And now we're going to sling it all back together. So we're going to work from the back all the way through to the front. We're going to put the fuel tank in first, obviously, and then work our way through the suspension, chuck on the exhaust, and then from there we're going to go into the front as well. Alright, we'll try and do this as quickly as we can. So the best part about putting all these cars back together is that they're just shiny and new. I like adding all new stuff to these cars, and the reason why is just because it's sort of, you get that, like, I don't know, it's like a good feeling you've sort of put something good back together. Now I know this isn't real life, and I know that I'm basically like, yeah, well, you should try this in real life. Actually, I can't do it in real life. I have a real major issue when it comes to putting things back together, and I'm not very good at it. I'm good at taking things apart, mind you, but I'm not good at putting things back together. So that's why I have to stick to like simulation gaming, because I'm a little bit of a numpty outside of this. So yeah, that's basically why I should really try and do this sometime in the future, maybe. But maybe at one point I'll build a car. I'll get one of those kit cars, and I can sit there and you can laugh at me whilst I put things in the wrong places all the time. But I think that's sort of like that would be like the ultimate goal, really, wouldn't it be? To sort of play a game like this for a really long time, and then, you know, actually try and do it in real life, and actually have some sort of, I don't know, an attempt at an actual redoing this in real life. That would be awesome. So, hey, watch this space. You never know what can happen. So it would be cool. Also, I'd need a new house and an actual garage, because I don't have one. So that's the downside to that idea. But again, you never know what happens in the future. So we're going to put all this back together. That's going to be the hub going on. Then it's going to be the drive axle. Then we're going to be putting the brakes in. That's all good. There's the cylinder. There's the shoe. Going to put the drum over top. It's all good. It's all starting to take a bit more shape now. Now I really should have put the suspension in first, but there you go. So what I went with on this was a set of 16-inch... what rims did I put on? I know they're... Oh, I think they're the roulette rims. I think. Give me... I can actually check you. Give me a minute. So I've put these ones. Yeah, they're the roulette rims. These are just standard 16-inch rims for this car. I think they're gonna... It'll look nice. You know, sort of like how it should be. That whole like retro feel. Okay. Let's whack that together. Okay, so that's the rear done. Now let's move on to the front. So we've got to put the cross member back in, obviously, before we put anything else in. And then we have to do this bit as well. So the bushings go on first. Get all that in. There we go. Screw that bad boy down. There we go, right there. Okay, now we'll start putting the knuckle back up together. So we put the knuckle in first, and everything just bolts in, acts nice, and it's all tight. But yeah, this car does take form quite quickly. Oh, we forgot to put the suspension back together. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do that in a second. I'm literally gonna run out of things to do on this side until that goes on. So that's the bearing. That's the disc brake. That's the pad. That's the caliper. Let's do the upper arm. We're gonna have to go and put the suspension back together in a minute. Ah, I knew I was gonna forget to do something before we start this. Right, so we'll put the sway bar in at least. Sway bars in, and we'll put the link in as well. And without having to go off and get that's the last thing we've got to do. So let's go and like put the suspension back together. Oh, seriously. There's always that one thing. You're always like, yeah, I'm just going to build this car. And then all of a sudden you've forgotten to do something that's, you know, slightly important. Adding shocks to the car. That sort of thing. Jeebus. It's all good, though. I mean, it's all like, you're always going to have that one thing. Always. So we're going to work from this side still. Okay, we'll put the shock absorber in. And then we can put the cap on. And then the wheel can go on in a minute when we've put the steering rack back in. Because we repaired our steering rack, so we didn't have to spend extra money on buying one. It's all good. Alright. There's the outer tie rod. And then we should be able to put the wheel on. There we go. So yeah, looks good. So that's the one side. Parts mount. So guys, don't forget, if you are liking these videos, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe and notification button below for all other updates. I will be doing a full series on like restoring this Dodge Charger, and if this is a good video for all of you guys, it'd be awesome to see you all in the next series. I don't know what I'm doing because it's a junkyard rescue car. I genuinely don't know what car I'm going to be doing until I go out and buy it. So it adds a little bit of mystery to what I'm going to be doing next. You know, I could be doing another Charger, I could do a Challenger, or even I could do a Lotus Elise. Even though I don't really want to, it's just something I could put together. So we shall definitely see. So yeah, it'd be nice to see you all in the next video, and potentially I am thinking about doing some more of these when it comes to the live streams. So if this is actually grabbing your attention, you enjoy this sort of content, try and find me on one of my live streams, maybe later on down the line where I'm actually doing one of these live. Because I like doing these live because I enjoy talking to people whilst I'm making these, like making the car back to normal, and it's always nice to have like a little bit of input with my like subscribers. I tend to ask them what they would like to see, like when it comes to if what colour they want, what sort of engine they go for, and we normally build a car as a community. Even though it's a game, it's still as a community sort of thing. It's just like, you know, I let them choose the colour, I'll let them choose what I'm actually going to be putting together. So it would be nice to see some of you right there as well. Okay, so that's the wheels on. And we can officially put this car into paint, but we're actually going to wait until the last video. Okay, so last to go into the car, underneath the car, is the fuel tank, which is over there, and that's done. And we've got to put the exhaust back in as well. Now, I have bought pretty much everything I think I need. I just can't mount it. There we go, that'll be there. So we're going to stick all this back together. Now, I haven't bought any like over the top like customizable parts in this one. This is literally just a straight build back to factory standard, and basically just, it's one of those cars that you would sit there and go, you know what, I'm proud I've done that my way, and it was all good. I'm thinking we could, I don't know, can we put these back on yet? I don't know if we can. I'm going to try putting these on now, but if it tells me to take them off when I go and unmount the engine, then we'll sort of like stuck it out, I suppose. Okay, so that's everything for the undercar components done for this car. I want to say thank you very much for joining me in this video. This has been Hybridsteel. If you have liked this video, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe and notification button below for all other updates. And in part 3 of this, we're going to be doing the engine. Now the engine, I'm still not sure if I'm going to be doing a supercharger or a Hemi, but it has to be better than what we've got under the hood at the moment, which is not a lot. So join me in the next video when you will see what engine I choose to put in this car. And until then, guys, peace out, have fun and enjoy everything you guys do. This has been Hybridsteel. Peace out, have fun and enjoy everything you guys do. Bye bye.